So hello to all. In this video, we will try to learn how to calculate the confidence interval, or you can say the critical value. Okay, so let's go. So before going to calculation part, we'll try to understand basically the concept. Okay, so what is critical value? Okay, so we'll try to understand what is critical value. Okay, so it is the value or the interval, you can say, which help us to know what is the acceptance area or what is the rejection area. Okay, so it is a function of two things: the critical value alpha and n, that is sample size. So actually what we are doing, we have a distribution curve, that is sample distribution curve. Okay, this is a sample distribution curve, sample distribution curve. Okay, and we have to get the critical value. Okay, so which will help us to decide what is the acceptance area or what is the rejection area. So for two-tailed test, this is a part of hypothesis testing. Okay, so if you don't know what is hypothesis testing, you can search in youtube and get to know what is hypothesis testing. Okay, so for two-tailed test, okay, so for two-tailed test we'll get two critical values. Okay, that is plus minus x, that is minus x and plus x. Okay, so this value, what is this value? This value we have to find out. Okay, this value we have to find out. Okay, what is the value of x here? So what is the acceptance area here? So whatever the value, if it comes in between minus x and plus x, it will be acceptance. And if it is in between, or if it is in left of minus x, rejected. And if it is in right of plus x, rejected. And if it is in between, then accepted. Okay, so our target is to calculate the value of x. How we are going to calculate the value of x here? Okay, so this is our target. So for that, we have to understand basically the critical value depends upon two factors, that is alpha and the n. Okay, so what is alpha? Alpha is what? Significance level. What is alpha? Significance level. Okay, so what is significance level? Significance level is defined as the probability of risk. Okay, that our null hypothesis will be rejected. Okay, or you can say significance level can also be defined as the amount of uncertainty which we are going to live with. Okay, so there are two things actually, alpha and c. Alpha is the probability of risk. In general, it has three values: 1%, 5%, and 10%. In general, 5% is used, that is 0.05. Okay, now we'll talk about C. C is what? Confidence interval. Here C is critical value. Okay, critical value. And C is here confidence interval. Confidence interval. Okay, so in 5%, there is a probability that our hypothesis will be rejected. But in rest of 95%, our probability, there is a probability that our hypothesis will be accepted. So there is a expression, that is alpha plus c is equals to 1. That is alpha is 0.05. In general, 0.05 is used, plus 0.95, and which is equals to 1. Okay, so that is all about significance level, and n is a sample size. So the first thing, in order to calculate, if you are going to calculate what is the value of critical value, what is the confidence interval, the first step is to see the sample size actually. First we will see the what is the sample size, and then we will proceed further. Okay, so we'll see the sample size first. Step 1, we'll see the sample size. Is it is it greater than equals to 30, or is it less than equals to 30? If it is greater than equal to 30, in that case, in Excel, actually we are trying to calculate the value confidence intervals with the help of what? that is Excel. So there we'll use function as norm.s.inv is a function, okay, we'll use. And if it is less than 30, in that case we'll be using t.inv. Okay, so we'll go through one question and which will help us to calculate. We'll learn actually with the help of question. So here we have a sample of 100 employees. There are 100 employees, okay, in sample, and the average is 75 minutes and the standard deviation is 30 minutes. Okay, 75 is an average, size is 100 and the standard deviation is 30. Okay, so what are the upper and the lower 95% confidence limits? So this question is asking about this value. What is the upper bound? What is the lower bound? Okay, so that we are going to calculate. Okay, so here we have been given the value of alpha. I have said I have talked about the expression, that is alpha plus c is equals to what, 1. Okay, so here confidence, the value of confidence is given, so we'll calculate the alpha as what, that is 0.05. Okay, so we have been provided the alpha value. Okay, so the next task is to calculate the value of upper and the lower bound. So the upper bound will be mean plus 3 into the value which we'll be getting with the help of Excel. Okay, and there will be a lower bound which will be equals to mean minus 3 into which we'll be getting through the Excel. Okay, so we have to find out this particular value. Okay, so we have to see what is the sample size here. 100 sample size. Step 1 is what? Sample size. So it is 100 and it is greater than it is greater than 30. And if it is greater than 30, so in that case what I have said, norm.s.inv function we will be using in Excel. Okay, so let's go. So we have been provided the value of alpha and the sample size is being given. So let's go to calculate the value of, so I've already calculated. So what you have to do equals to, you have to use norm.s.inv and then you have to select the alpha value and then by 2, okay, and then enter. So this is minus 1.95 actually. Okay, for two tail test you have to write plus minus 1.95. Okay, so one time 1.95 plus 1.95 and next time minus 1 point, sorry, that is 1.95. We have already taken minus here. Okay, 1.95 and you will get value as 80.88 and 69.12. Okay, so this is the upper bound and the lower bound which you are getting for a sample size greater than 30. Now we'll talk about if your sample size is less than 30. Here the sample size is 60. All the values are same actually. But here you can see the sample size is less than 30. That is 16 is given. And if the sample size is less than 30, in that case, I have said t.inv function will use. Okay, t.inv function we will use. Okay, so the value 80.88 and 69.12 are the upper bound. So this will be 80.88 80.88 and this value as what, that is 69.12. Okay, so if any value, if it is greater than 80.88 will be rejected, and if the value, if it is less than 69.12 is also rejected. But if it is in between, the value if it is in between 69.12 and 80.88 will be accepted. Okay, so next t.inv sample size is what, 16 here, and all the parameters are same, that is the average and the standard deviation. So upper bound is same, that is the mean 75 plus 3 into the value which we'll be getting through Excel, and the lower bound is equals to 75 minus 3 into the value which we are being getting with the help of Excel. Okay, and the alpha value we have been provided as, that is alpha plus c is equals to 1, and the alpha plus the confidence interval 0.95 is equals to 1 and alpha is equals to what, 0.05. Okay, so now, okay, so one thing I have to explain is that the parameter it receives as the alpha and another parameter, that is DOF, that is degree of freedom, which is equals to number of samples minus 1. Okay, so these two values we have to divide by 2. Okay, so these two values it receives, so we'll try to calculate. We have to write equals to and then t dot inv. Okay, t dot inv. Okay, and first is the alpha I have to give, and then 2. Okay, and then comma degree of freedom, that is number of sample, that is number of sample is 16. Okay, and minus 1. Okay, parenthesis close, enter. So 2.13. So 2.13. So the box will be filled with 2.13, 2.13. Okay, so the upper bound you'll be getting is 90.99, and here we will get 59.01. Okay, so if your sample size is less than 30, so these are the upper and the lower bound, and in this case this is the upper bound and the lower bound. So by this you will be able to get the value of upper bound and the lower bound. Okay, so first is what you have to, I want to summarize. Then first is what the step is, the first step you have to see the sample size, and then if it is greater than equals to 30, then you have to use norm dot s dot inv, and if it is less than 30, then you have to use this particular functionality t dot inv. Okay, so thank you. Thanks.